Bank of the West is offering the 1% for the Planet checking account. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. There's no monthly service charge with any deposit per statement, and there's no minimum balance required. The 1% for the Planet checking account, only from Bank of the West. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
The Bachelorette and Friends. From first love to happy ever after.
What's that?
From dating to dick pics.
Oh my.
Oh no! The Bachelorette and Friends. Oh, I love a good dick.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Bachelorette and Friends. I'm Carla Anita Matiazzo, and today's guest is James Liotta. James was born in Melbourne, Australia, and is an Australian-Italian award-winning actor, as well as performer, comedian, TV radio presenter and producer with over 25 years experience in the entertainment business, working constantly in all facets of the industry. James began entertaining audiences at the age of 8 years old, securing the lead roles in school theatrical productions and quickly moving into semi-professional shows outside of school. One of his earliest roles had him playing Prince Charming in a version of Cinderella in primary school. James's first TV agent was at the age of 8, and thus allowing him to participate sporadically in various TV series and commercials. It was common for James to take time off school to work professionally in the TV business. A lucky boy. In 2004, James graduated with a diploma in drama and theatre from NMIT. Over the years, James has appeared on various TV shows such as Fat Pizza, one of my faves, Back in the Business, Australia's Got Talent, 2019, Underbelly, Squizzy, Thank God You're Here, another favourite, Neighbours, Utopia, Prank Patrol, Upper Middle Bogan, another favourite, Planet Unearth, Paper Giants, Gru and Planet, Husey, We Have a Problem, Quizmania, Hey Hey It's Saturday, yep, that was right, Satisfaction, Ground Zero, Video Hits, The Project, Today Tonight, My Community, and Under the Hammer, just to name a few. Mamma mia, James, you've been fucking busy. Look at you guys.
Hello, Carla. How are you?
Sophia Loren. Tell me about Sophia Loren. And hello, by the way, James. How you doing, Bella?
I'm good. How are you doing yourself? And thank you very much for that. I think you read my whole website. That's fantastic.
I did. I read through all 50 pages.
Yeah, great. What was the question? I'm already sidetracked.
Oh, good.
Sophia Loren.
Sophia Loren, tell me about her. I fucking love her. Tell me about her.
It was a great opportunity. She came down here for a charity event, and I was one of the 3 MCs for the event at the Crown Casino. And I had the opportunity to be invited at the media call for when she did the press conference. So I was like a couple of meters away from her. I met her, but it was very brief. But she's wonderful. Yeah, she's really wonderful. It was a great honor to have participated in such an event for such a worldwide icon, really.
Yeah.
And she looks amazing. I don't know how much work she's had done, but she doesn't look 82 or whatever she is.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. She's an idol of mine. I love her. She's amazing for so many reasons. She's incredible. So should we tell the audience how we met, James?
Yes, it was a Saturday night, and we were out dancing. And I remember I was feeling very lonely at the time. Is that That's not the. Not the story.
Remember, I think we've just met each other along the tropes of all the Italian stuff, and
yeah.
And then through social media, I reckon we connected. I think that's where.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, just given the industry that we both shared together, I think we communicated through social media. Because it's been quite a few years now. I can't pinpoint how we met, but I know social media definitely played a big part, and I've met a lot of industry people through that medium. So it's quite common now.
Yeah, beautiful. I've just spilled water all over my table and all over my instruments. So we're starting well.
Can't take you anywhere.
No, we really can't. We really can't. That's all right. I'll deal with that later. I think my music books that my laptop is on top of will soak up all the juices. We'll be fine.
Ouch. Okay.
We'll be fine, hopefully. Okay, so James, just to get everybody up to speed, the audience up to speed about the show, because we are so new to podcasting. So this podcast is based on the premise of my award-winning cabaret show, The Catchalorette. There's always a catch, where I spoke about and sang about my first love to what I thought was happy ever after and everything in between. And I mean fucking everything. And James, you came to see the show, so you know exactly where we're going with all of this today, which is delightful.
I did see the show. Congratulations. It was a wonderful performance.
Thanks,
while
man.
I was in Adelaide. And it's great to see you do your thing, as they say.
Yes. Yeah, and I've seen a couple of your stand-ups. I have to say you're one of my favourite stand-ups, actually, James.
That's a big call, because there's like a billion stand-up comics out there. So if I'm one of your favourites, that's a really nice call.
Well, it's because you connect emotionally with your audience. I think that if I'm moved emotionally, then you're cooking with gas. That's what I need to go see something. Yeah, definitely. Now, James, I think we will kick right into things just after I get a towel, because this water is a bit...
All right.
So hold tight for 5. Hold tight for 5.
Deal with the soakness. Okay.
We have a temporary solution in place as we speak. I will deal...
That's better than what our Premier has.
Nice one, James. Well done. Good joke.
Yeah.
Okay, so seeing as in the show we started off with my first love, I think we should start there with you. We can start either at first crush or first love, James, at your pick, darling. Tell us about that.
So the question is my first crush, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. When my first crush was this girl that I met at a mutual family friend's, must have been a birthday party or something at the time. I was 14, she was 17. We had a pash, but she thought I was 16.
Oh, so was that a deal breaker for her?
I just wanted to get her, but I knew that if she thought I was 14, she wouldn't have gone for me, because she's almost an adult, 17. So I told her I was 16, and I was being a wog. I could grow a lot of facial hair very quickly, and so we had a pash. And that was my first pash, on the front lawn of a family friend's party, a long time ago.
Did any adults catch you? Because if that was the situation for me, I would have been in big trouble. Did you get caught?
No, they were all inside. And I actually don't even remember this girl's name. Like I only saw her that night. It was a quick pash, but I remember that, like any boy, your first pash is the one you want to marry, because you think, oh my God, this is amazing. And never saw her again. But years later, somehow, some way, started dating. When I mean dating, I mean I went on a few dates. Yeah. Her friend, I met one of her friends, and I started dating her instead.
Oh, you big slut! There you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But that was my first crush. Yeah, and I think the fact that she was older was part of the appeal, I think.
So that was the allure, that she was an experienced woman.
Well, I wouldn't know if she was experienced at the time. I just knew she was older, and I thought this is a great story.
Oh, so you were already thinking about stories at 14, or are you saying it's a great story for now?
It's turned out to be a great story. No, I just thought. I think I thought to myself at the time, oh wow, what 14-year-old is going to score a 17? Like, what 17-year-old girl is interested in a 14-year-old guy? You know?
It's true. This is true. Okay, so from there, it's interesting. A lot of people don't remember through the different interviews that I've done or podcasts that I've done so far. People don't remember generally the name of their crush.
Yeah. That's true. That's my first legitimate crush. But in primary school, there were a few girls that I liked.
Yeah.
There was a girl called Molly,
Oh,
and there was a girl called Monica that I liked for a long time, but they did not like me at all.
why? Do you remember?
You know, yeah, I do. I do remember. I wasn't in primary school, unlike high school. In primary school, I wasn't considered a popular kid.
Right. That's surprising.
I went to a very Anglo school. I suppose that my high school. Sorry. So say that again, Carla.
You're very charismatic, so that surprises me that you were.
Oh, thank you. No, I've always been charismatic, but when you go to an Anglo primary school where it's 95% Anglo, the WOG kids didn't get much attention. But my high school was very multicultural, so it's kind of everyone had their own, you know. But yeah, and that's why those two girls didn't like me, because they were Anglo girls, and they were after the basketballers and the skateboarders.
Yeah, that's your first.
Yeah, so they paid no attention to the guy who had only 3 friends.
Oh, James.
I didn't really care. I hated primary school.
Oh, did you really?
I didn't like primary school at all.
So is that your parents' fault, sending you to an Anglo school with only a few WOG kids around?
Oh, no.
Is that your parents?
Oh, no, not really. No, I don't blame my parents for that. I mean, hate's a strong word, probably, as it is. I think I just didn't find my feet in primary school. I didn't nothing happened that was bad. I mean, I was a good student. You know, I had fun as well. But when I hit high school, I was like, this whole new world opened up. It was amazing. My high school years were amazing.
That's nice.
Compared to my primary school years. Yeah.
Okay, so seeing as we're talking about high school, so did you have a girlfriend at high school? Did you jump into that realm of relationships in high school?
Yeah, there was a few girlfriends in high school, but nothing of too much of a serious nature. There was one girlfriend I had that for some reason we kept it a secret for about a year. We decided not to tell anybody because we just didn't want all the pressure that comes with being in a relationship in high school. So, but then it got really annoying and frustrating to run the relationship, and many things happen and you break up. But there was one girl that I dated for about a week. You know, you get those silly relationships that you have in high school. Like, people date for like a couple of days and then go, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Well, there was, I'm out. Like, you chase them like for months and months, and then they finally say yes. And then 3 days later you go, yeah, I don't want to do this.
So you were just interested in the chase rather than the actual person, James. Is that what you're saying?
The chase is always more fun, isn't it, than the relationship?
Well, then it's the wrong person. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, it was high school, so,
High school, my theory is high school is training wheels for being an adult in regards to
relationships. Guess so.
Yeah, I think it's...
Guess so, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. There was definitely, like in primary school, I do remember my first crush, Paul Abbott. I remember him bringing earrings back from his school holiday that he went on with his family to Perth, I think it was, and he got me 2 teddy bear earrings, and they were mood earrings. So they used to, remember those mood jewelry?
Yeah.
Used to change depending on...
Change colour. Yeah.
And I think I held on to those earrings for a really long time. Nothing happened between Paul and I. Like, it was literally just a crush. He bought me some earrings and that was it. I think that was it from memory. I could be so wrong. If Paul ever listens to this, please correct me if I am wrong. I just can't remember anything else other than that.
Well, I made a paper ring for Monica in primary school.
What?
And a paper ring, a ring out of paper, and got my friend to give it to her.
Oh, good job.
She said, I don't want it.
Fuck, she's smart. I wouldn't want it either. What are you doing, Jay?
A paper ring. I had no money.
It was the thought that counted, right?
Yeah, I made a paper ring for her. Yeah.
How long did it take to make? Do you remember?
No, but it's paper. Couldn't have taken too long. No, I don't. I don't remember that at all.
Very cute though, but you're a fucking tight ass then, just giving her paper.
Yeah, but I'm a wog. She's just got to get used to it. She was interested. She'd get used to it.
Oh, that's your motto. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I'm a wog. Get used to it. That's the motto.
Oh man. Okay, let's keep going. So from there, from the high school relationships, what would you say was your next step in your love journey, James? Where did you go from there?
I think like any decent boy does, after high school, and if you didn't have a girlfriend at that point, you play the field a bit.
Oh, so my assumption slut was correct. Was that right?
Oh yeah. Well, what boy isn't? I mean, if you're a man and you haven't been at some point, you're a dickhead. But you're gonna regret that later in years.
You'll regret that. Walk me through that analogy, James. Why will you regret?
Because I believe in finding your true love and settling down. I do believe in all that. I'm in favour of all that. I also believe that there's a lot of fun to be had out there as well, and there's something in us inbuilt that needs that as well. If you don't have it, I think you're gonna get to a point in your life where you're gonna wish you had it. Sure. Or you wish you had done it. That's what I believe anyway. Obviously, this doesn't apply to every single person, but just generally speaking, from speaking to many friends, older, younger, just experiences of people, there seems to be this level ground on, have your fun, because once you settle and you commit to someone, you should do it properly and you shouldn't regret not having done anything.
Sure.
So that's my theory behind that. So I played the field a little bit, and then came probably my first legitimate long-term relationship in my early 20s.
Right. So,
and funnily enough, she was older. She was 5 years older than me.
Oh, you're like the older lady, James.
Well, I did a 360 back to that 17-year-old, but I didn't lie to this one. She knew I was younger.
Okay, so at least, that's a good lesson that you learned from the first experience. You were up with your age. That's excellent.
Yeah. And I remembered her name.
Oh, that's good. That's another tick. Well done, James.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you've learned a couple of lessons so far in that
Two.
part of your journey too. Good. You're remembering people's names, and what was the other one?
Good.
And you were honest with your age.
Yeah.
That's lovely. I'm really happy that
Thanks.
you have those two.
Thank you.
So from there, and from what you were touching on before about settling down and whatnot, would you say that you are somebody that believes in happy ever after? And what does that look like for you? What's your thoughts on happy ever after?
Wow, that's a big question. I do believe in happy ever after. I just think, you find someone that that makes you feel special, that comfortable. I think comfortable is the right word. That you can be yourself around. I mean, I know all this stuff is quite cliche. I do understand, but there's a lot of truth in it too. Feeling comfortable, feeling special, all that sort of stuff. And I mean, Carla, both you and me, we've found people in the past where we thought we had found that.
Yes.
and then, things change. But you know what, Carla, they can change even for people that have been together for 40 years. And then suddenly they wake up one day, they go, I don't feel comfortable anymore. This is life.
Yeah, correct. That is true. That's, I know that too well. Yes.
Yeah.
40 plus year stuff, too well. So what do you think then, because there are so many options of finding your happy ever after, do you think there is a specific concoction or rule book that people need to follow to find that, or is it all just up to the individual?
After my last few experiences, say in the last 10 years of having long-term relationships, I don't believe there's any rules anymore, to be honest. I think to some degree, it's also up to destiny. And the older I've gotten, the more I've understood the concept about you need to be happy with yourself first.
Yes.
That didn't really make sense to me in my early 20s. Like, you'd hear it around. You go, what's that mean? You mean to make someone else happy. You mean to be someone else. You know what? It's so true. And you only start to get that understanding as you go through relationships and you get a bit older, where you go, you got to look after yourself. But if you look after yourself and you're happier with yourself, you will, by default, make someone happy.
Yeah, correct.
The right person.
Yeah. So
it should come naturally.
Yes.
Shouldn't be work, Yeah.
Yeah. So from what you've just said, and correct me if I'm wrong in the way that I'm going to summarize this. So you're all about two individuals being two whole individuals coming together as a team, not the analogy or the concept we hear so often about two halves becoming one. You know that bullshit? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. That's the one that I talk about at weddings when I MC them. But look,
or the half coming as one.
The halves coming as one, which is, look, that's a beautiful sentiment. It's not. I'm not dismissing it at all. But in reality, you have to be content with yourself first, and be. We've all got our good and bad traits. We've all got that. That's and but you have to own them.
Correct.
As well. I think even your bad traits, as long as you're not out there, committing some major criminal activity. But I'm just talking personality traits. Sometimes they're not great traits, but own them, because they make you who you are, and the right person will know how to deal with those traits.
Yeah.
Instead of fighting them, they'll deal with them.
Yeah. So would you say, I know in the show that I talk about, one of my catches being the complaint that I've had from all my boyfriends is I use too much toilet paper. So is that what we're talking about? Or are we talking about actual personality traits? Because,
What? We're in a pandemic. You can't use that much toilet paper. You can't do it.
Doing this before the pandemic, James.
I don't want to get too grotesque, but how much toilet paper do you need?
I don't think it's excessive, but apparently it is. I don't know.
Carla, that's what I call a trivial trait. And I feel like we all have those, but in a relationship, you need to learn to. Yeah, it's okay to be upset about those things, but you need to learn to laugh the trivial stuff off. Yeah. Because the trivial stuff is never going to stop. It's going to be there. You need to learn to humor it and laugh it off. Because if you let it ruin your relationship, there's bigger fish to fry in personality traits, than someone using that.
Yeah, so basically you're saying to any future partner that I'm with, they just have to deal with the fact that I use a lot of toilet paper. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you find ways to deal. I think me and you are performers, so we probably find funny ways to deal with it. Other people aren't as funny, but if that was me, I'd start hiding the toilet paper or something, so you couldn't find it. I mean, it's trivial, it shouldn't. It's okay if your partner's pissed off because you use too much toilet paper. That's fine. I accept that. But if they're going to be angry ongoing, like legitimately, and want to break up with you about it, then it's like, well, not a big problem in the grand scheme of things, is it?
Well, I'm quite happy to be the purchaser of toilet paper. I've got one of those subscriptions. What's that company?
Yeah.
The company that wraps their toilet paper up in different colours. Do you know?
I'm not sure, but if you've got a subscription to toilet paper, that's a whole new level of TP use.
No, it means I don't go to the supermarket and get the stuff with the plastic around it. This stuff comes in a box and it's all, recyclable and all that kind of stuff. So I'm doing good for the environment, James.
Well, you can get recyclable one at the supermarket too.
Yeah, but it's usually still covered in plastic.
That's the bit that you don't recycle.
I don't know. I feel like I'm doing poo-pooing, no pun intended, on my achievement with toilet paper.
Anyway, look, that's all right. I mean, toilet paper, it's okay. It's not an issue.
So, speaking of relationships, have you been a heartbreaker or have you had your heart broken, or both?
Definitely both.
Both.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I've got a theory on this too.
Yeah, go.
I've got a theory that, I mean, when you meet the right person and you're really, really happy with them, you never hope that it's going to end. But unfortunately, sometimes they do.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got a theory that if you were the heartbreaker last, it's the karma thing. If you broke someone's heart last, you're going to get yours broken, and there's a cycle.
Okay.
So you broke someone else's heart, you're next in line, then they'll break your heart, they're going to be next in line. It's a stupid theory, but it's one that
I'm looking back on relationships and I'm going, okay.
Is there a cycle there?
Yeah, there was. Ben, I apparently broke his heart. Jono, he broke mine, and fuck did he break mine. And Andrew, I broke his. And there's more.
Yeah. So sometimes there's this weird cycle that happens where karma comes back to bite you just to teach you the lesson you taught someone else. But it is what it is in the end, It wasn't right. It didn't go the way it was meant to go.
Yeah, so I always, not always, let's rephrase that sentence. As I've gotten older, and because I've been single for such a long time, by default, as performers, we are optimistic, because we wouldn't be in the performing arts realm if we weren't optimistic and positive, because we create our own stuff and we go for stuff that, we might not necessarily get and whatnot. Do you understand where I'm going with that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now I've lost my train of thought. What were we just speaking on? Remind me of.
We were just talking about the topic was specifically have we broken hearts, or have we had our heart broken, or have we done both? And I was just saying that I've done both, definitely, and I think that sometimes it's a cycle. The karma comes back to make us feel something.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting, and because we. Like I was saying, because we're in the industry that we are, I've begun to feel comfortable in being single, because like I have said, I've been single for a while, and I've had to keep telling myself, if I exist, so does he. So yeah. I am in two minds of, is there one person out there that's right for you, or are there multiple people that could be right for you, and then depending on fate, destiny, chance and whatnot, that determines who you end up with? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would have to agree with what you last said there. I think there are multiple people that can fill that space. And yes, it is up to destiny and fate whether you get to connect with one of those people and whether it's long lasting. Mm-hmm. I think it's impossible to think that there's only one person out there.
Yeah.
And it's evident by the fact that you might have a long-term relationship with someone and then it ends, and all that time you thought they were the one and only. And in time, someone else comes into your life and makes you feel like they're the one and only again. So it's quite clear that there are multiple people out there that can fill that space. That doesn't mean that you come across them every day. It can take years.
No, yeah.
Yeah. I understand, but like fate and destiny play a big part in it as well. You can't judge you can't judge the longevity of two people on the honeymoon period.
Correct.
I don't believe so anyway, because that period is generally always amazing for all couples that start getting together.
Yeah,
that's not the true relationship yet.
correct.
It's fun and it's required. It's absolutely, because you're getting to know each other. It's absolutely required, but it's not what the relationship will be in 3 years' time.
So do you think as you get older, people are more conscious of being exactly who they are from the get-go in the relationship? So then maybe in theory, the honeymoon period gets less and less as you get older when you become more and more authentic and true to yourself? Or would it be the other way around, where if you are attracting the right person, then the honeymoon period would last longer?
That's a big one.
Yeah.
No, I do think that as you get older and you know more about yourself, that you would treat the honeymoon period differently
Sure.
than say how you treated it when you were starting to date. I don't know, for argument's sake, say in your teens or your early 20s or whatever. Because a lot of the time when we start dating, we're trying to put on a persona. We're trying to be someone that we think they want us to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're smitten, we're in love. We want them, so we want them to be so happy with us. So we're trying to be something that maybe we're not. But as you get older, you get sick of doing that. So you kind of go, yeah, I am having my honeymoon period with this person, but this is exactly who I am. That toilet paper thing, I'm not going to hide it. You're going to see it from the first day. You get content with just, being yourself and showing all parts of yourself very quickly.
I think that's really important. I think that's
or quicker than you did.
Yeah, I think that's really important. So, because you and I have both been through heartbreak, would you say there is advice you'd be able to give to our listeners on how to get over heartbreak? Do you physically do things? What's your process from getting through heartbreak?
Yeah, well, it's a very individual question, isn't it? Because everyone's process is so different. Mm-hmm. I think without a doubt, at some point in your heartbreak after you've been heartbroken, is that if you've been with someone for a while, you have to remember that there's also, you may miss intimacy as well. And so I think eventually when you're ready, probably not right away, but when you're ready, even if you're not in a relationship, I think everyone craves intimacy. And I think that is a step towards intimacy. Doesn't heal your heart.
No.
But it fulfills other areas that you haven't had, that you're missing. So I think in time you need to go there again. Obviously you got to be comfortable with the person and all that sort of stuff. But that doesn't heal your heart. In essence, it's a bit cliche again, I think, but you need to distract yourself, find distraction, and force yourself to find distraction. I think at the start it'll feel like distraction. It always does. It feels fake, but as they say, time heals, and between time and distraction, you get to a point where you think about it less and less. But that's so subjective as well for each person.
Yeah. I agree with that, James. I agree. It's interesting because I'm quite a dual personality in that I need to be by myself to recharge, but I love being around people. So I'm an introverted extrovert. But I notice when I go through heartbreak, and look, I really think that heartbreak happens when you have been the one that has initiated the end of the relationship, or the relationship has been ended by the other person. So no matter what side of the coin you are on, I always find I retreat a lot more and not want to have anything to do with anybody. I just get on with my work. I do a lot of exercise, and I retreat into my shell, which I think is really interesting because that's against 50% of my personality, really. So it's interesting how you adapt and change when change comes into your life, because there was definitely, with Jono, I did not see that coming. Yeah, it's very interesting how you react during heartbreak, I think, and how you conduct yourself during that period.
Yeah, look, it's so individual for every person. I mean, I think it's important to allow yourself to be upset, to mourn.
Yeah.
You know, and go through it all. Go through the tears. Go through the anger. It's worse to bottle it up. Go through the hate. I mean, I think we all, if we've been broken up with and it wasn't our choice, I think we all go through that phase where we just hate that person. We just hate them, you know. But that subsides as well. And you know what? You have to get to a point where it becomes indifferent, and indifferent is actually worse than, not worse for me, but worse. It's a worse feeling than hate, because hate is an emotion.
Correct.
If you hate, you still have a connection to that person.
Yes.
But if you're indifferent, you've well and truly moved on.
Correct.
And again, that can take different time for different people, you know? So if you can go through your day, pardon me, and be indifferent about that person that hurt you, that is a much better thing for you than hating them, because if you're hating them, you're thinking about it constantly.
Yes, correct. And that's exhausting.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Because it takes over you, you know? It's a very strong emotion. Pardon me.
Yeah, it's interesting how different emotions resonate physically in your body. I definitely have to say the times where I have bumped into exes when it has not been planned, there's definitely, my chest goes really tight and there's a lot of anxiety, and that's not a great thing. So, you know, it's interesting how emotions affect you physically as well. Yeah, heartbreak can mess with you. I was watching Scrubs yesterday, and there was an episode, can't remember which episode, but I think it was in season 3, I think, because I'm binge watching it at the moment. And there was this patient that came in, and she was literally suffering from heartbreak. She had heart failure because her husband died. Which
this is very common. This is very common. Especially, this is well and truly documented in older couples, you know, that have been together 60 years or whatever, and one of them passes away, and within a week the other one passes away.
Yeah, wow.
It's sad. It's very sad. And there was no other issues with that person, and people truly believe they passed from heartache.
Yeah. That just blows my mind. That blows my mind.
This is well and truly documented. That's happened many times.
Yeah, wow. I wonder though, if you have been together with that person for such a long time and they die, and you physically feel that heartbreak to such an extent that you do die, isn't that what some people would want? Like, wouldn't they not want to be living without their significant other that is so pivotal in their life? Without being like, do you know what I'm trying to get at with that?
Yeah, I do. I do know what you're saying, but I also think that when you are heartbroken to that extreme, you're not thinking clearly anymore.
Correct.
You're not making the right. You don't make necessarily the right decisions for yourself because you live your mind is in a different planet, it's a different area. Heartbreak causes all sorts of things, and particularly like you get angry with yourself, for no reason. Sometimes for no reason. It's just you put a lot of blame on yourself, and when really, the blame's probably shared between two people. But
Correct.
yeah, obviously, being broken up with is not is harder than breaking up. Breaking up is very difficult as well. But when you've had your heart broken,
Mm-hmm.
it's just a little bit harder to deal with.
Yeah,
So,
especially when, like you've mentioned before, you think you're going to be with that person for the rest of your life.
yeah,
and that has been articulated to you throughout the whole relationship, in many different forms, verbally, written, all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, that person doesn't see the future that they once explained they did before. It's a bit of a shock to the system, I think. It can be.
It is because you love that person no matter what. Even knowing that we've all got the bad traits, even knowing that you piss them off sometimes, you think to yourself, I piss them off, but geez, they still love me, I don't know, Carl, it's hard to explain. You just think that there's enough love there to supersede issues that couples have.
Correct.
That personality traits bring. You think that you'll be fine,
Mm-hmm.
and then someone suddenly one day wakes up and sees it differently. It's a shock to the system. You just don't see it coming. That's the biggest shock is that, just because you have arguments along the way, and that doesn't give you any indication, because you make peace along the way as well with those stupid arguments.
Correct. Speaking of arguments, there's one of the lessons that I have definitely learnt through my journey is I would much rather have the uncomfortable conversations early on than it escalate into a full-blown argument. Like, I'd much rather, babe, I'm feeling uncomfortable about X, Y, Z, can we talk through it? Rather than, but unfortunately, a couple of my relationships have been with men that are not effective communicators, so that always makes it difficult to get to the point of, can we have an adult conversation about this without it turning into an argument? So if you've got one person that's really effective with their communication and the other person that isn't, there's going to be arguments, I think.
Well, absolutely, and as they say, communication is the key to everything. And I agree with you that it's worse to bottle things up or to sweep it under the carpet. And look, sometimes in relationships, we try to tell our partner certain things, and maybe they're not picking up on the signs, or they're just not understanding. And we're trying to be delicate about it, but sometimes you can't be delicate about it. You just have to go, and it's up to you to find other ways to if you truly care about that person and you do want to be with that person, you need to find other ways to make them understand. Like, don't give up on the first moment. Don't think that your way is the only way they're going to understand.
Yeah, but this is if the other person that you're communicating with is of sound mind and substance free.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they've got to, if someone's got a problem with me and doesn't get it through to me, I can't do anything about that. They've got to get it through to me somehow. Now, when they've exhausted their ways, if I'm still thick-headed, then you can kind of go, listen, James, I've told you in this way, in that way, and I've told you, but you still don't understand or whatever. but I've tried multiple attempts at telling you, then you can sort of take it, you can escalate it to the next level.
Yeah, right.
But basically, I think what I'm saying in this convoluted answer is that no one's a mind reader. You got to be not clear. You have to be extra clear, extra clear, because in relationships, we only hear what we want to hear some of the time.
Yes, that's true. And we get sometimes we can form different habits within a relationship that
for sure
cause us to accept things we usually wouldn't accept if we were outside of the rose-coloured glasses perspective of or whatever it is within the relationship that is.
That's true. People do accept behaviors and things that happen that, you know, and they do it for the sake of the relationship because, you know.
Self-worth, James. I think if people, like I know I've been in relationships that were wrong for me because I thought I was less than and that I didn't matter or didn't have a good sense of self-worth. So therefore I accepted things that there's no fucking way I would accept now. Like there's no way.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, every relationship teaches you a bit more and more about yourself as well, mainly, and where your boundaries are and all that sort of stuff. I think you got to balance out what you choose to accept and what you simply won't accept. You know, and this brings me back to the earlier point. We all make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we say the worst things to the people we love the most. And some other people don't understand that, but it's like, why would you do that? Believe me, the reason we're doing that is because you're the person I feel most comfortable with. But I'm not dismissing it. That's that's not right to do that. You don't use someone as your punching bag for anything. Right. That's wrong. And you should be called on that. You should be, and you should learn from that. But sometimes it happens because they are the person they feel the most comfortable with.
Yeah.
And so it just comes out that way. No one's perfect. We all make mistakes. There's things we accept and things we don't accept.
There's a difference between we all make mistakes and relationships where people should not stay in them if they're not safe or whatever. There's a big difference.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's a whole different. That is a whole different. Yeah. That is a whole different category. I think we're simply talking about personality traits. We're certainly saying this straight away. You know, when it comes to violence and abuse of that high level, you know, no one should be accepting. No man or woman should be accepting of that level of behavior.
Yeah, and there's services and stuff out there, like one.
Of course.
That helps people with those unfortunate situations. I was listening to, just to pivot a little bit, I was listening to Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard and Monica Padman the other week, and they had Ellen Pompeo on. So she was on Grey's Anatomy. She was the main chick in Grey's Anatomy. And there was, they were talking about relationships. And there was something that she said that really deeply jarred me when I heard it. So she said, and I'm paraphrasing here, she said it's healthier to be in a relationship than to not be in a relationship. And I thought that was from a very privileged standpoint. I don't think, because if I'm real, James, I feel like I've got a lot of untapped love sitting under the surface, ready to give to the right person, but that just has not happened yet. So hearing somebody say it's healthier to be in a relationship than not, it's like, I don't know why it jarred me so much. I think because I feel like I know my strengths and my weaknesses and I know what I'd bring to a relationship. I think hearing that from somebody, it just made me feel like, well, hang on a minute. There are a lot of reasons why people are not in relationships.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that comment. Yeah, I think that's a very I don't know. It's just very sort of naive kind of thing to say. Like, I mean, healthier for who? You know, well, I mean, how far does that go? Are people meant to stay together
Yeah.
when things are going really, really bad and there's some serious issues just because it's healthier to be, it's not healthy for them.
I think she went on to say about in relationships, people can hold a mirror up to you, and having somebody else externally and objectively check you is a healthy thing. But if you're unable to check yourself, isn't that a concern? If you are unable to check, oh, hang on, maybe I conducted myself in the wrong way just then, or maybe I spoke to that person in a way I shouldn't have. Isn't that a concern if you constantly need external objective opinions to check what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. The only people that don't check themselves ever are narcissists. Yeah. You know, that's the only people that don't check themselves. Otherwise, learning how to apologize is one of the biggest traits to have. Learning to say I'm sorry. Learning to say I'm sorry. It took so long to realize that I hurt you, but. Yeah. I have realized that I want to change my ways because I care about you. I want to do certain things different. That's all. They're all great traits. When someone flat out refuses to take any fault or see themselves in the mirror, they they may not be narcissists, but they certainly have qualities of narcissism in them. Their ego is way too much. It doesn't allow them to go, I might have done some things wrong as well. I might have tackled certain problems differently too, so I do. It's fine for someone to call you out upon it, but you shouldn't be reliant on someone calling you out, right? You should always be able to check yourself too.
And I think you're spot on with if somebody cannot apologize or call themselves out on behavior and always think that everybody else is the problem and everybody else should be to, like, I know in one of my relationships, my default when diffusing arguments was just to apologize, even if I was not wrong. Even if I wasn't wrong in that situation, I knew the only way to dissipate the situation was me going, okay, I'll take all the responsibility. I apologize. Let's fix it. But that's bad. That's really bad. Apologizing because you know that that's the step to fixing the problem when the other person is not willing to take any responsibility.
Yeah, because unfortunately that while you're trying to be the bigger person there, that's almost like finding a technique to get through to them. It's still, they don't see the technique. They just go, yep, you see, I was right.
Correct.
And so what you're doing is you're putting them again you're fueling their narcissism even more. And that's all it is. If someone can't see that the whole world doesn't revolve just around you and the way you feel and your feelings and your behavior and the way you want to do things, that we're all in this world together, mixing.
Mm-hmm.
And we've all got stuff that we do. We've all got little bits and pieces that we're like, no, I'm not going there. I'll put my foot down. We've all got that. That's fine. I'm not. I don't care about that. But in relationships, there's got to be a balance as well.
Oh, yeah.
And if that balance is off, it does need to be talked about. It does need to be resolved, because it will affect you both in the long run. But yes, apologizing is the key thing. Like you do wrong, apologize. Now, again, we're not talking about extreme measures here.
Yes.
I'm not talking about being violent and then going, I'm sorry.
Healthy relationships.
Yeah. Like we both said, that's a more sort of serious kind of look at nastier things that sometimes happen in relationships. I think we're keeping it on the light here for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, I think relationships do bring out the best and worst in people. But relationships bring out more of the worst in you, then it's definitely not the right relationship. Because there's relationships.
No, that's true.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I agree.
sorry, go ahead, James. What were you going to say?
No, I was just saying, I definitely agree. I mean, it's fine that it brings out the best and worst, but it should always bring out a little bit more of the best than the worst in you, because that becomes unhealthy otherwise.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit more about dating. Do you have any, pardon me, any dating stories that you think our audiences would enjoy, or something, maybe a dating experience where you learned something about yourself, or you learned a new deal breaker that you collected? Whatever you're comfortable sharing, James.
It's not even that. I'm just trying to think of like something interesting, you know, because there's a lot of, everyone's got their dating stories. There's not a lot of stuff that some people are sort of blasé, you know. It's like, oh yeah, well, not really interested in that. I did learn earlier on, do not try to pick up a good mate's ex.
You didn't know that rule?
Not when you're 20 and you're horny, no.
Right, sure. Okay. Yeah. That's,
Yeah. So
you're Italian.
I did that once, and it's not worth the trouble. It's not worth the trouble. And it's morally, it's wrong as well.
Okay. Walk me through that, James.
Well, look, it's a very simple process. There was a mate of mine. We were good friends, and he was dating this girl for a little while. Could have been, I don't know, maybe a couple of months, something like that. They broke up. I was friends with her anyway because he's my mate, so I was friends with her. So we started talking a bit more, got closer, and then we started dating ourselves. I told him, and he clearly wasn't very happy, and I don't blame him. But love is blind when you're 20 or 21, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And you're very easy to go, well, fuck off, mate. I like it now. You know, and that's terrible. It's terrible. It's not a good feeling to think about it. I would never do it now.
Yeah. You learned that lesson and you never did it
again. Yeah. No, I never did it again, because it's not worth it, you know? It's not worth it. Unless the situation happened and you honestly had your mate's blessing, like 100%. But let's face it, that's not very often. Correct. When people break up, you know, you don't want to be going to date your friend's exes, right? It doesn't happen often that you get a blessing like that. And
well, it's like that episode with Friends where Ross was dating Joey's ex and Joey was dating Rachel, and fucking Ross lost his shit and he got really drunk.
Yeah.
And he burnt his hands on a pot making flan or something, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know how that unfolds. It's not good. It's not good.
No, it's not good. Not good. So I learned that early on. I learned that. I don't know if there's anything else of interest. That's all.
So, okay. So obviously you're in Victoria and you're still in lockdown, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So clearly 2020 has not been the year of dating for many people. How have you survived? Like you were talking about intimacy before. I know that living by myself, I have struggled when we in South Australia were in a form of, lockdown, not having somebody, like no affection, not being able to touch anybody. I'm a very affectionate, tactile person. With my friends, I hug and kiss my friends. When I'm standing next to them, I'll have my arm around doesn't matter what sex they are, girl or boy, whatever. Yeah. That's just who I am as a person. And the fact that I've had to shut that down to such an extreme extent this year because of COVID, thank fuck for my dogs. Like, if I could talk to my dogs when I get home, give them a cuddle, if I didn't have that tactile thing, if I didn't have the dogs here, I'd be fucked this year. Like, mental health would just be Like not
Yeah.
only that, but having the 9 months of shows go after it being so successful at the Fringe. Just how have you gone with the lack of intimacy because you can't fucking touch anybody at the moment?
Well, I touch myself. You led me there. You know. Look, it's hard on everybody. It really is. I mean, yeah. Look, Melbourne, we've copped it hard here in Melbourne, and yeah, like the dating scene is basically over bloody Zoom, really. And online and stuff, and that's not real date. You can't go anywhere. You can't get to know each other. You can't. I'm not a believer in dating online.
Yeah,
kind of thing. So I'm just riding the wave, really, Carl. I'm just riding the wave. I'm keeping myself busy. There's that distraction thing again. Just keeping myself busy. I've been very really dived into my work the best way I could without having tangible work, and that was all through comedy online and stuff like that.
Funny.
And you know what? I think also, Carl. Sorry, say that again. I missed that. Say that again.
I said I've watched a few of the things you boys have been doing, and I've been quite entertained.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Glad someone's laughing. And I also think, for me personally, humouring these issues is what gets me through it.
Sure.
And everyone deals with it their own way too. So it is what it is. It won't be forever, but it is what it is for now.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're keeping yourself distracted, James.
Yes, and there's multiple adult pornography online. I have multiple films that I watch weekly.
What was that, James? What did you say?
I was just saying I have multiple of my favourite films that I like to watch.
I'm glad you're keeping yourself entertained. That's good.
Yeah, great.
Beautiful. On that gorgeous note, thank you so much for coming on, James, and bearing with me while I decided to sprinkle all my equipment with my glass of water. Thanks so much for coming on. It's been brilliant, James. We've had an awesome conversation.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed every second, and I've learnt more about you that I didn't know before. So thank you, James.
It's been a lot of fun, Carla, and it's been somewhat therapeutic as well.
Good. I'm glad. Have a lovely afternoon, evening to whoever is listening at whatever time they're listening. And make sure you check out James on social media at James Liotta. You can find him on Facebook and Instagram and wherever you check stuff out. Thanks, Bella. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.
Ciao.
The Catchalorette with friends near and far, from heartache to catfish and sex toys. The Catchalorette and friends. See you next time if you dare.
Bank of the West is offering the 1% for the Planet checking account. It gives back to the planet at no cost to you, and there's no monthly service charge with any deposit per statement. Only from Bank of the West. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.